Hello guys and welcome to another Ron Gamer video. Finally, we have the return of Drakor, the probably the second oldest Titan in the game. After all that anticipation and all of that hype that we all had around, well, what's his skills gonna be? And if you had seen my prediction of the Reskill Titans video, I predicted Spearman as the meat shield, but that's not to be because apparently devs really love Imperials. Um, they like to put Imperials on odd places. Well, in this particular case, it's not the worst place Imperials could have gone. They can be a decent meat shield. But in the way I see it, Imperials are not, they are best used more offensively than defensively, but yeah, they can be built right. And hopefully one day we see an elithian Volstan version come up where we get four different resists for the Imperials along with Imperials X armor and X health, which will really push the meta in favor of Imperials. And as you will see towards the end of my video, I'm going to show you how there is a possibility of with one relic that's in this event to fill in a very important puzzle in the game of getting those really uh, almost uh, really hardy, I would rather say, not unbeatable but very hardy um, Imperials. Now remember, if we ever see a Guardian come out for the Elithian one, anyone who has the new 5-star Guardian relic can already stands in a huge advantage. And yeah, I mean, there's so much we can talk about on that. Now I don't really want to go through all these relics because I'm sure there'll be more videos on this. The relic that I will be more focusing on will be the one you see in the first one, where the first relic there on the left. And I'll talk about that as we go along. One thing which I was a little let down by this event is the massive gap between the boost values. So you got 1.5 for one single Titan of Ilza, and I'm fine with that because yeah, they did say that in the last week, and and so obviously the people who do have him or have gone for him, well, yeah, fair enough, they reap the benefit of a 1.5 boost there. But hey, man, why isn't there any 1.4 or forget 1.4? Why not a 1.3 boost Titan? I mean, this is very restrictive to uh, to the players that's going to go for the event. Now, as a lot of people will say, and have already said about, including myself, about these new reskilled champions. I mean, Coldan, for example, who obviously started the trend. He's excellent for mid castle level, maybe even to a certain extent in the let's say castle 20, 21, 22, maybe as well, like being a stretch. Uh, but now, so if that is also something which we can say about this new Drakor, um, then hey, why are the boost titans so restrictive? I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, I find it hard to take that. Hey, they expect to sell a titan which all of us high players who've been playing this for a long time know this isn't an end game titan. So this is a titan meant to help the lower level players. And why offer titans which almost no lower player will have? I mean, 1.5 Ilza. I mean, how many of the lower players or players new to the game are going to have an Ilza to get themselves that titan? So that's something which I'm not really too happy about. Uh, and yeah, personally for me, I'm going to be using my good old Marmage level 51, just because, good combination of cats that I can just take along and maybe some Storm Maiden and stuff like that and get it done. I do not unfortunately have an old Ilza or the new Ilza because I just can't be bothered. So the rewards really begin at 6,000 souls, and what you see first is the Fire Ruby. In fact, I don't have this relic, and it was quite relevant when you wanted to build titans which themselves could be taken into battle. Or maybe build some neat little paladins with fire resist on them. Um, Personally, for me though, this is a relic of the past, not really something that you would want to have. Um, because most of the times, as you go high in the game, you're gonna use relics that relic that boost that the troops rather than the Titan. Anyway, now here's a one of the rewards which actually appears at believe he's available. Oh, I missed that. Okay, I'll probably have to look at that. But here's Nakar. I got him. I was quite lucky with the temple altar. I think when I don't remember which. I think it was Ishkar event or whatever that was on, and that's when I got him from the temple. He is actually pretty decent. I like the fact that I can take in two different sort of meat shields. And but only thing which I don't like about Neka is the fact that it's got Grenadier critical. I would rather prefer Grenadier's AP, which is very scarce to get from the relics. Now the other rewards here, you get FLAMBERGE at 4,000 so 11,000 souls, which actually gives you Grand XP, Grand AP, sorry, which is sweet. So if you're going for that, it'd be nice. So here's what it looks like. So it's 30% armor piercing at the max, and I think that's 60% Titan damage and 50% Grenadier damage. It's quite a good relic to have if you don't have that. Here you pick up critical for all troops. Now if you have a Malkor, or you have a Krothos, or you have Avalos, the new Avalos, then well, you can probably find a place for. Well, actually, hold on. This will not go on to Avalos because he is not a fire titan. So, well, it's probably only for Malkor and for you know your your current titan Drakor as well. I mean, critical is nice and all that, but I don't really find this relic something you must have. You probably didn't get that from everywhere else. So for me, that's pretty much a possible relic. But now, here's the discussion that I want to make. So you got Drakor's gift, right? Now this relic, forget about the first slot, even forget about the second slot. Now the third slot, and I checked the stats on their blog post. That final skill at level 10 of this relic is 18% Imperial's resist against ranged. Right. Now, keep that in mind, and I'll come back to that in a moment. Right? Now, higher up in the events, 15,000 souls is where you get your Drakor. Okay, and I don't really want to go through his skills. It's all been there, right? It's Imperial's defense, Grenadier's offense, but no, so it's Grenadier's damage and AP. Titan buffs very similar to Colden. Right, now this final relic, Gauntlets, is a well, not Gauntlets, the Drakor's gift is about 16,000 souls. Alright, okay. Now the gauntlets, which is the final relic at 18,000 souls, what is this good for? Well, you get Imperial's health, which is nice. So this will probably, it could also go on to many other titans, including Avalos, because it says Titan and troop fire damage. So this could actually go on to other titans as well. Or maybe not. I'll have to check that. But this relic, Imperial's health, is always good to get. And this relic actually gives you Grenadier's armor piercing, but the only problem is it's available at 18 freaking thousand souls. So yeah, there's that to that. Now rewards, stuff like that, yep. Top prize is level 40. If you go up in the top 50, which is the alliance that I am in, well, pick up a Draco by actually, but personally for me, I'm not actually going to be grinding the whole event to get a Draco, but meet the minimums to get that. Now here's Avalos. Now Avalos does compare quite closely with Drakor in the sense that the Imperials and the Grenadier skills are the same, but now one can argue which one's better or not. But now one's a Guardian and that as well an elithian Guardian. What does that mean? Because he's an Ice Guardian, you will have access to lot more Imperial defensive relics. So you can really, really make an Avalos very, very buff in terms of his Imperials, and then you can have the Grenadiers, but because he's not an Unak, you will not be able to equip a lot of Grenadiers, fire relics to improve the stats of Grenadiers much more. Okay, but now here's the other thing that moves in advantage of Avalos is the fact that you can get the new 5-star relic on him, which in my opinion puts Avalos in a slightly more advantage. But the only now, but to speak on from the other side, hey, one thing which Avalos cannot do, which Drakor can do, is actually stand as a Titan himself. So Drakor can go into the battle and actually do a bit of killing, but Avalos is not going to do anything. Maybe a few hits, few swipes, and he's and then after that he's gone. So that is where you will find Drakor standing more test of time. Now, remember the earlier relic I spoke about, the one in the event which gives 18% Imperial resist against range. Right, now if you have that relic, and if you happen to have the forest bow, and this was one of those many relic events that this featured, and well, not for the first time, this has featured probably only once, I think, in a very old event. But anyway, if you do have this event, this relic, the final level 10 stat is 38% resist against range. Right, 38 plus 18 is 56. And here we have GUNGNIR, which came up, I think, when Zeus came out, or probably when Thor came out for the first time. And here's what you get: you get Titan and Troop resist against ranged again. So 24 plus 56 is 80%, and to my understanding, that is the cap. That isn't the cap for your range resist, but if you're gonna go with 80% range resist, I mean that's pretty solid, and you can couple this with Head of Mimir. It's not gonna give you range resist, but it's gonna give you some melee resist. You can also throw in the 5-star champ relic on your Drakor, and you can create, now with just these couple of relics you've seen on the screen, you can create 48% 48% resist against melee, okay, 80% resist against ranged, and 24% resist against lightning, which is what Head of Mimir gives, which I don't have on the screen. So there is a build that you can probably come up with for your Drakor, which can make those Imperials very, very hard to sort of blow out of the water. But now the other side of this is you could also use GUNGNIR, you could also use the Forest Bow on your Avalos, and if you couple that with the 5-star Guardian relic, and along with the new relic in this event, there is that little there is that advantage you can pick up. So I mean, this is what I think. There is some use for that relic in the end. It can fill in a very important hole, because if you're gonna go from 68% resist against range versus 80% resist against range, that makes a hell lot of difference for someone who's going up against those. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on this event. I personally, although it's very luring, that last relic is pretty nice. It doesn't cut it out for me, because that's just too high a soul count. I don't have an Ilza, so I can't really roll with a 1.5 boost. I'm going to run with 1.2, probably get to around 4 or 5,000 souls and call it a day. And yeah, fingers crossed for a better conquest event, which we'll see on Friday. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. If you do like this content, please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you all in another Wrong Gamer video.